I can't stop. Yeah. It's me. It's me, guys. That's right. I'm not doing that, though. Hot stepping. Hot stepping. It's the DJ. DJ Lego Man. Figured why not? It's fucking Friday, but it's fucking Friday. That's right. It's fucking right. Okay, that's it. We're done with that. On to...
Welcome to Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. President Trump announced Hamas and other armed groups have agreed to a roadmap to disarm. On Thursday, Trump wrote, quote, "Today, the Board of Peace reached a historic agreement for the complete disarmament of Hamas and all other armed groups in Gaza," unquote. As part of the deal, Trump said that Israel will also gradually withdraw from Gaza, but Israel has not publicly said it's agreed to the plan. Meanwhile, Hamas officials said any weapon handover would only occur after Israel withdraws its forces, ceases its attacks, and allows humanitarian aid into the enclave. Displaced residents in Gaza expressed doubt Israel would withdraw its troops.
I call on Mr. Trump, the President of the United States, to pressure Israel to withdraw completely from the Gaza Strip so that we can live a dignified life and return to our homes.
Sounds good to me.
And also in the reconstruction, to speed up the reconstruction for the people, because we have been suffering for 3 years. We are living in tents.
Israel's killed more than 1,200 people in Gaza since the so-called ceasefire went into effect 10 months ago. Earlier this week, Doctors Without Borders said, quote, "This is not a ceasefire. It's a continuation of the genocide calibrated to be violent enough to keep Palestinians suffering every day, yet silent enough to avoid stirring international outrage," Doctors Without Borders said. On Capitol Hill, the Senate's voted down a war powers resolution to limit President Trump's authority to wage war against Iran. The vote was 50-49. Democratic Senator John Fetterman of Pennsylvania voted with Republicans to defeat the measure. 3 Republicans joined the Democrats. Saudi Arabia is forming a new military alliance with 13 other countries to protect shipping in the Red Sea. This comes after Houthi forces in Yemen have targeted Saudi vessels in the Red Sea. Meanwhile, Iran's denied involvement in the recent drone attack on Egypt's Damietta port. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said Israel might have carried out a false flag operation aiming to undermine regional peace. In business news, oil firms are reporting their highest quarterly profits in years due to rising gas prices caused by the U.S. and...
I'm sure he's healthier than our king orange guy, right?
Israeli war on Iran. Over the past 3 months, ExxonMobil made over $14.5 billion. Chevron made $12 billion, and Shell made nearly $10 billion. President Trump said Thursday he may temporarily withdraw his nomination of Todd Blanche for Attorney General after 2 Republican senators, John Cornyn of Texas and Tom Tillis of North Carolina, demanded Blanche provide written modifications to the controversial settlement reached between Trump and the IRS over Trump's unprecedented lawsuit against the agency. One part of the settlement gave Trump and his family and businesses broad immunity from IRS audits, potentially saving the family $100 million in penalties. The settlement also created a nearly $1.8 billion fund for Trump allies, including January 6 insurrectionists. Blanche has said the fund will not be formed, but has not put that in writing. Trump wrote, quote, "I have no objection to temporarily withdrawing Todd's name if they do not do the right thing and putting him back after Cornyn and Tillis are out of office," Trump wrote. Parts of Europe are in the midst of another heat wave, while firefighters battle blazes across the continent, including in France, Spain, Greece, Britain, and Germany. 3 firefighters died in Greece on Tuesday. The Guardian reports new figures show more than 1 million acres of land have burned this year.
Yeah, you might as well ride that. You know what I mean? You got to ride that wave right now. It's the only thing making money.
More than triple the recent historical average. A new report in Scientific Reports Journal has found climate change.
Unless you're a numbers guy, you're, you know, not winning too much.
Change has sparked a, quote, major intensification, unquote, of fires. In Britain, a large fire broke out in Suffolk, just miles from a nuclear power station. This is Jude Bailey, who was forced to evacuate due to the fires.
Chatter, don't forget that the fact that you even have a mortgage. Just saying. Don't forget what I said about they're trying to get rid of fucking people owning houses. Not even kidding.
Devastation of this area, which is
basically, if we go another round with this kind of oligarchical, like MAGA-ish, whatever, instead of the leftist position, if we go around, another 4 years or something, we're going to basically be in an area where there's not going to be any houses to buy, and only rentals, and only price of rentals going up every year.
a natural beauty, and the wildlife is just awful. And I understand that this area may take, after this fire, is.
By the way, my area was, fires, they suck.
Decades to recover, and this is obviously going to be repeating a cycle with climate change the way it is.
In news from North Africa, at least 18 migrants drowned while trying to cross from Morocco into the Spanish enclave of Ceuta. On Thursday, as many as 49,900 migrants.
Wait. Is he sure about that? Yeah, the cheap stuff you don't want. Anyway, even the bad areas are expensive now because of the speculators like BlackRock. Like I said, if you want to blow your mind, watch a documentary on BlackRock and how they bought all these houses and shit. You know what I mean? I think I've seen 2. There's like a couple companies, BlackRock, Vanguard, and they basically just suck up other entities. And one of the things that they do as well is they just invest in real estate. They just buy houses. Like you're trying to buy a house in California, you'll put in a $580,000 bid. The BlackRock will come in with a shell real estate company or whatever broker that will buy the house at $80,000 over asking. Cash. No loan. Cash. Yeah, but this is different than like hedge fund. Like BlackRock isn't just a hedge fund. Like these corporations, it's hard to describe them. They're ultra corporations, and they only exist as a money entity. There's no physicalness to it, except for the owning of real estate. So it's really interesting to me. Should find a good documentary about it.
50,000 migrants cross that border by land or sea.
Okay, this is some bullshit. I mean, they're managing the money manager.
Ceuta is located on the North African coast and shares a 5-mile border with Morocco. In response to the arrival of tens of thousands of migrants, Spain's
Dude, this is the actual physical space called Morocco. It's the tip of Africa. There's a section on the very tip of it, on a peninsula, that has as a colonial entity. Okay. This is hilarious. Probably some of them can if they live near the, what is it, Atisaka or something? Whatever this peninsula is.
Deployed military units to the area. Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez is expected to visit the enclave today as humanitarian groups have widely condemned Spain's lethal border crackdown on migrants in the region. In other news from Morocco,
So what Spain did, from what I can gather from that wasn't even a good report. But what I gathered was Spain normally gets a bunch of immigrants, right? But apparently they somehow got these immigrants and bust them in. It's like when we sent, one of the governors sent people south and one of them sent people north.
President Trump has thanked Morocco's king for naming a 650-mile highway after President Trump. Much of the highway runs along the coast of Western Sahara, which has been occupied by Morocco since 1975. 6 years ago, Trump recognized Morocco's unilateral...
Remember, Morocco is an Israeli ally. I would say Morocco is essentially a state, is run by the state, our state.
Annexation of Western Sahara, making the United States the first country to do so. The U.S. State Department's apologized after the agency displayed a widely inaccurate map of Africa at a major AIDS conference. The map showed Nigeria to be a landlocked nation in the Sahara Desert. Mozambique was moved to the Horn of Africa. Cote d'Ivoire and Cameroon appeared on the other side of the continent. Uganda and Malawi were also misplaced. Reuters reports the map was likely made using OpenAI technology. In sports news, opposition is growing to a proposal by FIFA President Gianni Infantino to sell stakes in the World Cup to a private equity group.
Yeah, and then how are you going to pay that mortgage? 6%, right? What is that? $1,500 a month, right? And how close is it to your job? How much is that paying in Kansas City? Right? At $65K.
Run by Joshua Kushner, the brother of Jared Kushner, who's President Trump's son-in-law. On Thursday, European soccer associations agreed to boycott the World Cup and other FIFA...
Yeah, but what job are you getting in Kansas City? Like, fuck.
Competitions if the deal goes through. Earlier today, a top FIFA advisor resigned in protest over the proposal. The FIFA plan is being pushed by Infantino, who is a close friend of Donald Trump. Last year, Infantino created a new award, the FIFA Peace Prize, and gave it to President Trump. In Georgia, the father of an accused school shooter has been sentenced to 15 years in prison for giving his teenage son an AR-15 style rifle as a Christmas gift. Colin Gray was sentenced Thursday after being convicted of second-degree murder. Colin Gray's son, who was 14 at the time, is accused of using the gun to kill 2 students and 2 teachers at a high school in Winder, Georgia in 2024. Prosecutors accuse the father of ignoring his son's emotional problems, including his obsession with school shooters. In Britain, police arrested 117 protesters who'd gathered outside a London court to show support for Palestine action. Last year, the British government declared the group to be a terrorist organization, making support for the group punishable by up to 14 years in prison. A victory for Palestine Action. Britain's Supreme Court ruled Palestine Action's co-founder could challenge the ban against the group at the UK's highest court. And in Washington, Senator Chuck Schumer spoke at the National Press Club Thursday at an event focused on corruption. Journalist Sam Husseini interrupted Schumer's remarks and called him a genocidal maniac for supporting Israel.
You were put on notice, and you backed it, and you backed the genocide to the hills for years on end. How dare you talk about corruption?
You should. It's like it's one of those this one hacks, this one small trick. Buy a cheap house and the music's playing in the background. You know, creepy music. This one small trick. Go to Kansas City. Buy a $75,000 house. Shack up. Pay the $200 mortgage. Work remote for $100,000 a year. Literally put it under the couch. All the cash. then invest in Microsoft. There you go.
How dare you talk about corruption?
Thank you for your diatribe. Now, let's continue.
This one trick they won't tell you. This one trick they won't tell you in college. This one business trick they won't tell you. What's up, YouTube? I've got this one trick to tell you that no one else will tell you, even in the most elite business schools, including Harvard. I have learned this simply by being a big brain 5-head. That's correct.
And let the people didn't come to hear you.
You should be questioned about your diabolical
Exactly.
record. It's amazing that you can show your genocidal face in public.
Mr. The walls are paper thin.
Mr. Senator.
And those are some of the headlines. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report.
Any $65,000 house is gonna need 10 grand the first year you move in, guaranteed. I 100,000% guarantee you're gonna figure something out once you move in. It's like, oh fuck, there's 10 grand.
Amy Goodman in New York, joined by Democracy Now!'s Juan Gonzalez in Chicago. Hi, Juan.
Hi, Amy, and welcome to all of our listeners and viewers across the country and around the world.
He's one of my favorite people. Can't believe I've been watching that show for how... It's literally why I watch it. It's like nostalgic for me because I've been watching it for so long. What am I going to do? I'm going to have to watch Normeen Shake.
Question like it was a bat soup enema. But you know who really stole the show? Rand Paul.
Fauci bullshit.
But you didn't disclose your role and the...
Okay, here we go with some absolutely fucking insane shit. No matter how you feel about Fauci. Remember, Fauci worked under Trump while they developed the vaccine, while Trump was in charge, while Trump said Fauci's a good guy. I like Fauci. He's a nice guy. I trust him. He's been doing it for 30 years. What's this about the vaccine stuff? I was there, bitches. So... all this fucking otherworldly science fiction bullshit that they're trying to drag Fauci into with some weird ass diary proof. And it's led by Rand Paul has the same brainworms that RFK has, because these motherfuckers were born on the same goddamn day from the same goddamn woman's you know what. Because like, dude, they're both fucking idiots.
Discussions that preceded the writing of the paper. You did not disclose the author's original concerns. You did not reveal.
Yeah, especially that cast iron, but it's going to shatter after a couple shots. I've hit cast iron with sledgehammers before, so I know I have personal experience of how hard it is to crack a hole in those motherfuckers. And because they have that curve on them a certain way, there's a reason they have certain shapes, you know. They really perfected the shapes on those motherfuckers. There's a reason they don't change. God damn. What the fuck?
Wow. I think we have a stalker in our graphic arts department. But if anyone knows who that is, tell her I'm definitely not the guy who keeps calling her and hanging up.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't say the tub was full.
But until she came along, we were there for one man. A doctor chasing fame during a global pandemic. While lives were lost, businesses ruined, and the true origin of the virus covered up like a...
The only thing you would want to worry about is if you had a downstairs tub, because someone on the floor above you could shoot you from below through the floor if they knew where you were. However, the chances of that are the person coming after you knows your layout and has a, layout.
A sore on Barbara Streisand's ass.
You're good.
It's the story of a
lifetime. I'm not going to ask why you're thinking about
Pulitzer-worthy even, unless you're these douchebags.
The whole thing was an intentional circus.
Today's hearing was a kind of bizarre show trial.
I mean, this is an assault on science and scientists.
This is a show trial.
It is a circus.
This is Rand Paul
deeply invested in this narrative that there was a conspiracy.
The Senate holding fiery and at times farcical hearings.
Watching Anthony Fauci before a congressional hearing taking the Fifth Amendment
I take the Fifth.
is just one of the most heartbreaking things I have seen in government in my lifetime.
It breaks my heart. I can't believe we're back here. I can't believe we're relitigating this.
Relitigating? This is the story that breaks your heart?
Yeah,
what broke
dude.
our hearts were parents getting arrested for taking their kids to playgrounds that were emptier than a WNBA game. Or small businesses crushed by shutdowns while BLM rioters rampaged like it was Black Friday at Walmart.
Didn't happen.
All because Fauci said a manageable virus was deadlier than sharing a motel room with Hunter Biden.
Good job. Always think what states.
Meanwhile, one dope blamed senators
By the way, he has like this. He has another film coming out where he's just beating people up. It's great. He's just doing the same thing over and over and over. Isn't it great how he's just slapping these hate innuendos around? Yeah, I know.
Demanding answers. You know the guy. He has beady hillbilly eyes and a wig that belongs on a Spanish bullfighter.
The Fauci thing, just sheer political theater. They shamed themselves. We Americans needed answers yesterday. What you're doing is you're staging nothing but a show trial.
Well,
and so
great performance.
He didn't play along. It's an embarrassing performance. This guy swearing that and then you had other people, what's the color? What's the color of your tie? What's the color of the carpet?
Okay.
It was such a clown show.
He would know.
Yeah, he would know. This clown says that we wanted answers. The whole hearing featured a man who refused to give them.
It's free speech.
So why aren't these reporters actually seeking answers? Right. They call themselves journalists, after all. Fearless truth tellers. But it's a fairy tale. A romantic fantasy that's been with us since all the president's men. You know the story of journalists who broke Watergate. Remember the scandal so massive we compare everything to it and add the suffix "gate" to anything the media perceives as bad, like Russiagate, Deflategate, and when Kathy Griffith shows up, lock the gate.
Why?
But reality is different. Watergate's bungled burglary was bad, but common in American politics. And the media's role in it, uncovering it, is a myth. No, Washington Post reporters Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein did not single-handedly bring down a president.
Bro, he's debunking Watergate now. What the fuck? The hubris this guy has. He makes $40 million a year. Look it up. It's actually insane.
Was mostly police work. Key breakthroughs came from the FBI, the Feds, Senate Watergate Committee, grand juries, and the courts.
It's more than two
All
figures.
the press did was turn a sketchy political practice into a national psychodrama that damaged the country as it created a fallacy that the media could be trusted to do big stories. No, they haven't done one since, nor did they even do that one. It's all fantasy. Because when the real big stories break, they switch from Woodward to Bernstein to Laurel and Hardy.
Yeah, you know what real news is? Fox News and me, Greg Gutfeld, because I know how to sit on a couch and make transphobic jokes. Yeah. Now I'm going to break down how great Laurel and Hardy were.
Think about it. The biggest political scandal of all time, a president in cognitive decline from day one, shielded by staffers, isolated from the press, unaware of what he's signing.
20
Media
million?
missed that. The biggest moral scandal? How about gaslighting Americans into thinking you can chop off healthy body parts on kids? They missed.
This is the #1 comedy show in America. Apparently.
That one too. The biggest domestic security scandal of all time, try an open border that let in murderous criminals and terrorists. Only Fox covered that, and we were mocked for it.
He literally sounds like your dad yelling at you. Not maybe your dad, but in general. You know what I mean? Because he knows you're a left, liberal, purple-haired hippie, and you support transgender. So he's just got all the points, and he's just rapid fire. Right in your face every day. And he comes prepared with a notebook.
And now the biggest health scandal. Government officials funding risky gain-of-function research on bat viruses at a lab whose methods, timing, location, and outcomes closely match the appearance of a novel virus that killed millions. Kind of makes Watergate look like that time I dozed off at work and drove that school bus off a cliff.
He's not good.
But the media didn't just ignore those stories. They shut down anyone who brought them up. It's why they couldn't cover the hearings, because they'd have to cover themselves. Hell, Jake Tapper, Abby Phillips, Rachel Maddow, Joe Scarborough, David Muir, Lawrence O'Donnell, Chuck Todd, they all should have been sitting up there next to Fauci yesterday.
No, he's good at it.
Fact is, the media refuses to follow the facts because they always lead back to them.
I literally use them as a litmus test. Right? Because I have no idea otherwise what these motherfuckers are thinking. I can sit here and yap all day. But until I see these, he's representing, to me, he represents MAGA and the dad that is still pissed off that Trump maybe hasn't done. No, he's pissed off. His shtick is he's pissed off and, he won't say Trump hasn't done anything. He's just always going to prove you wrong.
Nice guess. Period. Police call her a star because she has 5 points on her license. Outnumbered co-host Emily Campagno. He looks like the guy who leans against the car outside of high school. Comedian Jim Florentine.
So I'm sure your dad would watch this show. Either this or Newsmax. Should tell him to watch me someday.
She's so skinny, people from third world countries send her food. New York Times bestselling author, Fox News contributor,
Well, Vance is a chameleon.
And he's the only
The reason Vance is a problem is not because he's dumb. He's a chameleon, okay? He will play the role. Which is very dangerous. You don't stand on principle. Newsom's the same way, but in a liberal, snide way. You know what I mean? Yeah.
With a 12,000-pound towing capability, former NWA world champion, host of the Planet Towers podcast.
No, it's using the word professional to hide behind it rather than actually being professional, which being professional is different than what they're doing. You know what I mean? I get what you're saying. I understand.
All right.
No worries.
Emily, you are a lawyer, and I can barely contain my rage when Stephanie Rule says, why are we relitigating this? We're talking about something that...
Did you see that? Did you hear that? Listen. Someone's other hot mic. Watch.
This. We're talking about... We're talking about... This says, why are we relitigating this? We're litigating this. We're talking about something that caused 12 million deaths worldwide.
Someone swallowed their coffee. Yeah, but like I always argue now, and I'm, my argument's been proven out this year with the people that have been winning in the DSA. As long as you have a platform, if you're standing upon a couple of pillars, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and you constantly are heading towards those pillars and you're showing proof that you're moving towards them, like Mamdani has been, for example, in New York, then that's different than what you're talking about, which I think is being open to criticism, understanding the criticism, and adapting. But that also goes hand in hand with having that attitude in the first place, with actually wanting to get something done, rather than where our Democrats are, chat. Most Democrats they want stuff to stay the status quo because it's comfortable. They're getting exactly what they want. They're getting reelected. They know they're going to get reelected because they got the money invested. Once they got their money locked in, they're good to go, but not anymore. So I get what you said. Yeah. No, you got, I mean, any candidate needs to be flexible. I think that's AOC's strength, is she has the ability to be somewhat flexible and actually listen. And she has moved a little bit on certain things. And I think that's good.
We still don't know why they made the decisions they made, what they were covering up, but we don't want to relitigate that. Let's go do January 6th.
Huh? Let's relitigate January 6th. No, he does the coca. He's a coca enjoyer. I've heard him joke enough to understand that he actually likes it. He loves it.
Their cure for everything became historically the biggest catastrophe ever. And we know that the left's identity is built on control, and that control exists through fear. So became
I think
litigate that. Let's go do January 6th. The decisions they made, what they were covering up, but we don't. The decisions they made, what they were covering up, but we don't want to relitigate.
Whatever works for you, bro. You know what I mean? I'm a drug about. I say all drugs should be legal. That's my stance.
Let's go do January 6th.
Of course it is.
Their cure for everything became...
Dude, the street price for Coke is 5,000x from when it's made. 5,000x. The incentive, dude.
Historically, the biggest...
Something in my rage, this.
And it isn't the street kids snorting the Coke. It's millionaires who want the best shit because they need it too. They're human. They'll sit here, be gay, snort Coke, yap and yap and yap, and then tell you what's wrong with you. You're a loser. You're gay. You're bisexual, transsexual. You do cocaine, Mr. Hunter Biden, you crackhead. But you know what, guys? It's me, Greg Gutfeld. That's right, motherfuckers. Don't scare me with that beautiful woman. Oh, no.
Yeah, exactly. What they were covering up. But
that's funnier than him.
We don't want to relitigate that. Let's go do January 6th.
Their cure for everything became...
do January 6th?
Historically, the biggest catastrophe ever.
Sorry.
And we know that the left's identity is built on control, and that control exists through fear. So
okay, so the left, I mean, we use control and spread fear so that we can control people, right? Now, reverse that and go back and go, MAGA exists. She's literally just telling on herself. This is a cell phone. Listen.
My opinion is that the reason that they can't go into this at all is because it would reveal to them that something that for those years that they fought over and protested over, rioted over, lied over, canceled over, was simply a sham. It would lead to the realization that the Wizard of Oz was in fact just an egomaniacal, tiny little, powerful, smug, surly man who refused to look, by the way, any senator in the eye when they were pointing out those million deaths in this country. And that's the saddest part, that the worst to the Dems than the million deaths, the hundreds of thousands of livelihoods lost and kids' lives just...
Do you understand? What are you talking about? There is footage of you saying yourself the total opposite of what you're saying now. Like on Fox News, Emily. Should we put the fucking
worse than
clips up?
all of that destruction is simply the realization that it was all a sham. And then with that, pulling that string means that it's also a sham. They like to say everything. Now, their F word is conspiracy.
So I'm doing like 4 Adderalls a day. If I'm doing like as much coffee as I'm doing, huh? Wow.
And it used to mean something attached to tinfoil hats. Now it's just asking questions. Then it was daring to ask questions. Remember, the good doctor is the one that said democracy would be destroyed if we failed to roll out the vaccines and forced everyone to wear a mask. That was democracy. Was everyone questioning the unilateral authoritative voice that he was all a sham?
Listen.
And then with that, pulling that string means that it's also a sham. They like to say everything now. Their F word is conspiracy. And it used to mean something attached to tinfoil hats. Now it's just asking questions. Then it was daring to ask questions. Remember, the good doctor is the one that
Just
said
asking
democracy would be destroyed if we failed to roll out the vaccines and forced everyone to wear a mask. That was democracy. Was everyone questioning the unilateral authoritative voice that he had, that every government followed? And those states that dared to say, not on my watch, and we are going to question it, they were canceled, they were mocked, and now it's been baked into their institution. So you are right. They will refuse ever to even look at the diary, and that's why their answers have to do with either shaming him or simply about the horrifying nature of the deaths itself. Because if they were even to go into the government encroachment, then they would point that finger right back at themselves and obliterate their identity.
All right. So, Jim,
dude,
don't you wish you had the media to cover for?
Dude. Her storytelling is like this weird way of painting herself into a corner. It's really interesting. But I think for most people, it comes across as she's very smart. I mean, she's not. She's very smart. But I mean, like,
For you when you killed people?
how is that an argument against the leftists, saying that they're authoritarian and that they're like Hitler because Hitler called themselves socialists as a gag? And a couple of years later started rounding them all up and killing them.
Under the Fifth Amendment, he doesn't have to answer that question.
I plead the Fifth.
Good.
111 times.
I mean, you gotta.
First of all, it's amazing that he pleaded the Fifth over 100 times.
Yeah.
Like if my ex-girlfriend hated talking as much as Fauci did, we'd still be together.
Wow.
But it's just amazing how they're just so complicit, like
That's
they're
right.
gaslight.
I'm a great comedian. I like dragging my ex-girlfriend under the bus. So this woman in front of me knows that I'm going to drag her under the bus too. So that when I inevitably do, it's a joke, but it's really me, guys. Ha ha. That's how these guys operate. It's the lowest bar comedy. Sometimes they come up with some good lines, but
The public, the media with this. It's all in the diary. All the stuff is in there. And they're just pretending it didn't happen.
Yeah. What kind of guy?
I want to try one of those crazy drugs you can buy at the at the gas station one day, just for the fun of it.
What kind of guy has a diary, Jim?
It's true.
Purple.
It's true, but I mean, it's almost like the media's like, even though he said it came from the Wuhan lab, it might not have been that Wuhan lab. We don't know.
Yes. There's a whole chain of them down the block. By the way, I just want to point out one thing when stupid head Scarborough says, oh, he asked him what color his tie he did.
Look, he says stupid head. I mean, bro, I'm not into getting on people's fucking looks unless they're getting on someone else's look, but like, bro, talk about stupid head. You're not getting any younger, son.
Did that to show you that he was using the Fifth for non-incriminating questions.
Don't do it.
Which
No,
almost
I don't
negates
care,
the whole
dude.
point of using the Fifth. If you're watching it, you're going like, wow, he's using the Fifth on even.
I remember 2 times where I was like, oh shit. Ever. With my experiments. So far, anyway. But
questions that don't incriminate him. Therefore, it's kind of pointless. That was the point, I believe, Kat. Although I'm not a lawyer, though I often tell young ladies that at the bar. Can you think of a big...
There's these really cool TikToks and YouTube shorts I've been seeing, chat, where will be like, yeah, I'm doing something I used to do when I was 20 when I'm 40. And he's like getting out of the truck, stepping out. And then he turns into a ghost. He keeps walking. The ghost keeps walking and turns around and looks at himself. And he's neck cracked, leg broken, laying on the pavement, teeth bleeding, That's how I feel now. That's what's going to happen to me. Jump on the skateboard. As soon as I jump back on the fucking longboard, I'm going to crack my neck and break 2 bones. Yeah.
Giant story the media has broken.
So that's the kind of comedy that's funny to me because it relates to how I feel. Interesting, right?
Nick Shirley has broken one great story. That's one more than the media.
Yeah, well, the thing about this is it really is depressing for a million reasons, but one that maybe we haven't touched on in the past few minutes is it really just shows how divided we really are unnecessarily, at least in terms of the media, because this is something that screwed all of us.
Yeah.
There's no division between me and you,
to varying
Kat.
degrees, up to and including death for some people and losing family members and having them die alone and horrible things like that.
Like I said,
Everyone to some level suffered for this. And we are now finding out what many of us have been suspecting for a while, that this was not based on the science the way that we were being told all the time that it was. And his words were being treated as gospel, as law, and his words were not just wrong, but they were lies. He knew they were wrong. That affected everyone. Everyone should be mad about that. Yeah. It shouldn't matter. If the more that you kind of bought into it, the more that you should be mad now rather than the opposite, I would think. You know, I just don't see why we can't. We politicized a virus, which was pretty bad. And now that we're finding out we were all screwed, all of us were made.
We politicized it. We politicized it. Need a barometer. That's why.
Fools out of and screwed and.
Like, for example, what tools would you use to speak to your dad who you know is into Trump and might vote for J.D. Vance, despite you going, he's 80, whatever, who cares what he votes for? I get that too. I feel the same way about some elders. You know what I mean? Just wish them the best and want them to live a happy life, etc. Blah, blah, blah. Love them very much, but I'm not going to try to influence an 80-year-old, for example. But pretend like you wanted to. What tools would you use to talk to them about what they're saying? Because what you're going to hear from them is probably going to be something similar to what you're hearing from these guys or whatever news source they're getting their fucking information from. In the case of someone I know, it's someone else is distilling the news and then talking to them about it. So they're getting it from a third party already that's already distilling it. So they're like me. They're a third party distiller. However, that third party distiller that they're getting their information from isn't really helping them along in life, you know? It's crazy. So I use this. I watch opposite news that's hateful so that I can bounce off it and it'll bring like ideas up in my head and automatically, and I can then react. That's what reacting on Twitch is about. You have to have those either chat moments or video moments to bounce off. If you're a fucking honest reactor like I am, and you're not doing a persona, but then you're on here every day on Twitch, just pretending like you're Dr. fucking Disrespect. Meantime, you're a diddler. Yeah, I'm good.
We had things of consequences we all suffered, and we can't all be like, hey, what the
Yeah. You know, it's...
hey, what the fuck?
I go back to... I've said this enough times.
You're not saying anything. He's right. My chatter's right about you guys. And another thing this brings up to me, these motherfuckers are wearing like $400 Nikes. All right, her dress is worth like $400. They're sitting on, comfortable couches, and Fox News pays them a lot of fucking money to say whatever the fuck they're saying, which is nothing. And if your brain auto mutes this shit, that's great. I love it. But this goes straight to the fucking frontal lobe of these boomer people that are still voting, even at 82, and they're going to vote for J.D. Vance, J.D. fucking Vance, whoever's going to be like MAGA light. And yeah, let's not vote for them.
Can we just, we have to replace.
We can't. We can't, dude. I'm done. There's just like my dad, my birthday, it was like a fucking anarchist, I guess. But he liked right-wing politics. I don't get him. I never did. Anyway, if he was still kicking, I would tell him like it is right now, even if he is old. But I'm different. I'm on Twitch doing it. I have a fucking chip on my shoulder.
And I reserved a motel room in Philadelphia, and then Nick flew out to Philly. We shot it there. The most common shared thing that we all felt.
Want to be a part of that change. 10 viewers at a time, folks. Hit that sub button. Hit that motherfucking follow button. Because you never know what the fuck you're going to see on this channel, let me tell you. I may be live only 3 hours a night, but we do the most.
Was dissatisfaction with the two-party political system.
This channel's the best. There's a lot of chatters in here. So I encourage you to participate because I'm not going to bite. I'm a nice guy.
Seems like the goal of current
policy. I do have my opinions, but I will go the long way with you until I ban you or get mad at you. Yeah, probably too far.
Politicians is to figure out where to make people point blame at. I think that Epstein Island was some kind of blackmail operation. They were probably all murdered by Mossad.
Exactly. But you think it was Mossad that did it?
I think it was a mix of Mossad, the CIA, and various Western-aligned intelligence agencies. See, the Q itself was a psyop to dilute the truth about the Epstein files with so much conspiracy nonsense that the liberal establishment was able to kind of cast it all aside and say anyone who believes Epstein also believes in flat Earth, so it's all something that should be ignored.
Dude. Hey guys, it's Jackson Buhai, your host of In the Know here with TMZ. A little bit of a different interview coming at you today. Today I'm joined by a man who provides quite the variety of content to his audience.
Yeah, I want to see an interview of Andrew instead of Andrew interviewing people for once. Where does he really stand on politics?
Someone who's comfortable visiting Palestine and exploring the geopolitical tensions in the Middle East, or, on the other end, creating a documentary about a man who sincerely misses his parrot. This man is none other than Mr. Andrew Callahan from Channel 5. Mr. Callahan, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it. Like I said, it's great lighting in here. And secondly, it's nice to see you up to date on the current stuff we're putting out.
Yeah,
that parrot documentary called Finding Orson came out less than 72 hours ago.
C5
My Palestine video came out yesterday.
Yeah.
So you, sir, are in the know. So
thank you. I definitely am in the know. That's why that's the name of this show. Speaking of that parrot documentary, you are all about variety. Talk to me about C5 Now. Talk to me about this platform you've curated. What's going on with that?
Well, I thought of the idea for C5.now, which is like a self-hosted independent documentary platform, because of the internal mandates that were going around at the big studios, being like Amazon, HBO, Netflix, Hulu, etc. And it's basically mandates that were based on consumer data, which showed that people were more responsive to documentaries about pop stars, sports teams, true crime, celebrities, and stuff like that. So basically, you saw a gradual decrease in more experimental, political, human interest documentaries, and an uptick in just fandom documentaries. It's the same reason you see Ant-Man 6 and Minions Go to the Moon, and Parasite, a South Korean film, can win Best Picture that same year. It's because they know it's bigger return on investment to make documentaries about Ted Bundy or Tom Brady or Taylor Swift.
He's right.
But people aren't actually the most engaged or they're not put in a thought-provoking state. They're not
exactly.
You know what I'm trying to say. So basically,
some might call it slop.
Yeah, but it's also people respond to it more metrically.
Right.
So during that period of time a couple years ago, studios stopped buying documentaries that I think make real change in the world. So I decided to make a platform that's fully self-hosted for other documentary filmmakers, where they get a higher residual split, profit share, than offered by the traditional platforms. And also, it's just I want to help other people gain some spotlight now that I've had it for so long.
What kind of impact have you seen since launching?
I mean, we got 5,000 like subscribers in the opening day, which is a lot for like a new subscription-based service. And I think people just like it. They like to be able to watch documentaries knowing that they're directly supporting the creator while doing it, and not just giving subscription money to some corporate machine that's going to underpay the director.
Right. Aside from C5 Now, you've recently made headlines because you did what a lot of people across the country would consider the impossible.
Yeah.
You got in a room with Hunter Biden and Nick Fuentes. We broke a story, and I want to mention this. We broke a story where we said it nearly got physical in that room, which was confirmed to the Wrap as being 100% true. But what I find the most admirable about that is you said that towards the end, the three of you sat down and actually found common ground, which is becoming something quite unheard of in this country. Talk to me about how you're talking Hunter Biden, you're talking Nick Fuentes, and somehow you get them all into the same room with you.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the common ground that was found is best illustrated by how the interview came together in the first place.
Okay.
So Hunter has came out of like the media closet for a while now. He's been doing a bunch of interviews and podcasts. I did his first one back, but now he's like speaking openly on like DJ Vlad and like a bunch of different platforms. And he had said, I want to speak to the young anti-Trump, Gen Z, conservative right, and mentioned Nick by name. Just so happened that my publicist heard that Nick wanted to do an interview with a more left-leaning podcaster or documentary filmmaker or journalist or whatever to clarify and kind of rescind various positions about the Holocaust, the black community, etc. So I saw this moment, and I reserved a motel room in Philadelphia, near where Hunter's dad lives, visiting Joe Biden. And then Nick flew out to Philly. We shot it there, and by the end, I think the most common shared thing that we all felt was dissatisfaction with the two-party political system, especially Donald Trump and the current Democratic frontrunners, and then also an understanding of the broader theme that's really affecting our generation, which is community collapse. The collapse of in-person engagement, third spaces going away, loneliness, screen time, isolation, and the mental health effects of that. And I think those are all tied together because political radicalization is a component of loneliness, you know, and just this sort of existential dread that sets in after years of doom scrolling.
Dude, he's a fucking centrist. We're not gonna back down as leftists and become not radical. Calling us radicals is insane. Because, like, nothing we're talking about is radical. It's only radical because you've been told for so long you can't have it. That's it. That's the only reason it's radical. The reason that fucking right-wing radicals exist, radical word meaning fucking insane, fucking want to kill, people with skin that's not their color, white fucking supremacist motherfuckers. Racist bitch asses, Nazis. Okay, that's different. It's a different kind of radical. When we're talking about radical, we're talking about healthcare for all. That's radical because that makes fucking billionaires sweat. Okay, chat? Billionaires are sweating because they know their taxes are going up next year or the year after that or in 10 years. They don't care. They don't want that. Imagine having $100 billion being worried about how much taxes you have to pay. Imagine being that fucking petty of a person. To be worried about your taxes that you know are going to go to help some homeless person. But you're fine. Oh, well, I donated my amount for the year that was enough to offset my taxes so that I paid zero. What's wrong with that? I did my philanthropy. I philanthropized. Fuck your philanthropy. We're taking your money. So, why is Andrew Callahan, who's not a fucking billionaire, or is he rich? He must have a lot of money backing him. So that's why I don't like him very much. Still, whatever.
Rolling and lack of friends in real life can cause you to point fingers in many different directions, and it seems like the goal of current politicians is to figure out where to make people point blame at, figure out where to direct that finger pointing.
So you're saying that, and correct me if I'm wrong, that this new trend of large-scale political radicalization is caused by algorithms and social media and things like that to make people feel isolated and feel like the world's actually against me, so I should feel against.
Nope. Baseline fucking analysis. 10, 15-year-old analysis. 10-year-old analysis of the fucking... A 10-year-old could come to a different conclusion. What do you mean?
The world.
Yeah, to be afraid of it as well. I mean, a lot of people don't go outside anymore. So they're developing perceptions of places like California or Philadelphia as these sort of like infernal hellholes where you can't walk around without getting stabbed or, stabbed with an AIDS needle.
Does that scare you?
That
it's becoming like that?
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
But the reason is because people are saying things. People say things. Saying things doesn't cause this. What's really causing it, folks? Capitalism. Late stage capitalism. Hello? Billionaires existing. Hello? I just drew a full conclusion from start to finish about what this guy's talking about. The only reason the left is called radical is the one reason I just said, and other reasons related to that. The right is radical because of their actual policies, and they want to take away your rights. And they talk about freedom. They mean freedom for them to do whatever they fucking want to you.
Because, I grew up hitchhiking and trying to explore as many worlds as I could. So encountering unfamiliar cultures, even if it came with a bit of danger, was always something that I found pretty interesting.
Of course.
So to see that go away because of social media algorithms and how they reward fear-based content, it's a very sad thing.
And do you feel like entities like the US government have a large hand in social media algorithms and persuading people to think a certain way?
Well, there's the U.S. government, then there's the government above them, and I'm not going like Alex Jones' deep state here. I mean like the tech oligarchs who fund campaigns and are tied in with the donor class, like Larry Ellison,
like
Mark Andreessen, all these people that are building data centers and modifying algorithms to suppress certain kinds of content and promote other kinds of antisocial content with the goal of collapsing communities and keeping people broke, alone, single consumers. That's what they want, for you to stay at home all day, doom scroll and buy products online.
What do you think led to it nearly getting physical?
So he is describing capitalism.
Well, it's just funny because we sent like a draft of the documentary around. By getting physical, there was a moment where Hunter Biden put his arm on Nick's bicep and was like, "Come on, Nick," which by definition, Merriam-Webster, is physical.
Right.
I didn't say it got physical. We gave a cut to certain media outlets, and they were like, it got physical or nearly got physical, meaning initiated contact didn't escalate to fisticuffs.
A growing fear amongst the American people in particular is that there's a lot of civil unrest right now. And I think for people on opposite sides of the political spectrum to come together and find common ground is very important. Considering, Nick Fuentes, a lot of people would say, is pretty far right. He's right-leaning and at one point was, kind of a proponent of the Trump administration at one point in his career. But what's interesting is he's kind of done a complete turnaround, even by saying that he will not vote unless the Epstein files are released.
I think everybody in my generation feels that way. I would say it's 80%. Maybe it's the people that I talk to, but I think the Epstein thing is something that they expected to go away, or they could just kind of replace with another culture war issue. Like I'm sure that's what the Trump admin wanted, is like for the next big thing, like the Venezuelan kidnapping of Maduro, or the Iran war, all these various things they figured would create like another cycle to get people hyped about and frenzied on, but the Epstein thing has held up.
What kind of checks and balances do you think need to be in place in order for someone to not be able to rise to such power and kind of insert themselves in geopolitical situations like the kidnapping of Maduro or things like that?
I mean, there's really no way to tell how somebody will behave until they get absolute power. There's that's saying that goes, absolute power corrupts absolutely. So maybe Hegseth was a chill dude when he was on like the college rugby team, but no one's expecting this guy to have the nuclear codes. So I think when things escalate, you'll see, but someone has to be given that position and then their true colors come out.
What do you mean? It's the president.
Do you have any sources telling you anything about Epstein, the person he was, why the files haven't been fully unredacted or released? I know you interviewed Ro Khanna, as have I.
Yeah.
But anything you're hearing behind the scenes?
Sources have told me that he was a piece of shit. I don't know what he was doing exactly, but I think that Epstein Island was some kind of blackmail operation. If you look into who Ghislaine Maxwell's father was, it appears to be not only a pedophile destination, but a place where people were taken, compromised, and then sent off to Wall Street and elsewhere to do the bidding of whoever Epstein worked for.
Robert Maxwell is a very interesting topic that I love to talk about a lot because I think it gives us a very transparent look into the Epstein phenomena. For me personally, the thing that interests me is the promise system and his death. Is there anything that interests you about the Maxwell family?
Just the fact that Robert Maxwell had a hand in writing the textbooks that gave us our formative understanding of like American and world history. You know, he literally like controlled like those OG textbooks that you read in school. He was behind that. So our conception of the geopolitical alignment of the world is, in a way, spearheaded by that guy.
I understand. And in terms of the Epstein files themselves, anything that stands out to you? First of all, there are millions, so I know it's a very broad question. But I'm talking about in concerns of the actual trafficking operation, the French modeling scouts. I don't know if you know, but Daniel Sillard, who is a French model scout named a couple thousand times in the files, was found dead July 20th, so a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Along with, you know, follows the same pattern of Jean-Luc Brunel, who was
They're
found
probably
dead in
all
his
murdered
cell.
by Mossad.
Exactly. But you think it was Mossad that did it?
I think it was a mix of Mossad, the CIA, and various, you know, Western-aligned intelligence agencies that are responsible for disappearing people related to the Epstein case.
I'll take that one.
What shocked me the most about all that is seeing how Ghislaine Maxwell and Epstein were kind of pulling the strings on 4chan and, you know, on Reddit
that's true too.
before the QAnon phenomenon came to fruition. And that was so interesting to me because I was covering Q a lot in 2020. And if you look at the timelines, you see that Q itself was a psyop to dilute the truth about the Epstein files with so much like conspiracy nonsense that the liberal establishment was able to kind of cast it all aside and say anyone who believes Epstein also believes in flat earth, so it's all something that should be ignored. And so it's crazy looking back because I was wondering, what's the benefit of this Q stuff? Is it just to get Trump back in power? Is it just to get votes ahead of the election? And now you're seeing, no, it was sort of like try to launder the loony bin over top of the Epstein truth to make it all seem dumb. So even for me, when the Epstein files came out, and I was seeing that Ghislaine Maxwell met with the founder of 4chan to make the poll boards, and I was seeing that like there was meetings between Reddit officials, basically, whatever you want to call them, and Epstein, and you're like, damn, okay, now I see why Q happened. And but I'm saying it was hard for me to accept the truth about the Epstein files immediately because I'd only heard Epstein-related information from people who were like out of their mind.
I've been studying the Epstein phenomena for nearly 2 years now, and it's been a wild ride. From going to Washington, D.C. and interviewing congressmen firsthand to interviewing survivors, interviewing people that worked directly with him and knew him.
Yeah.
It's been ridiculous. And it seems to me like you're right. He was a collection of interests that was broadened amongst multiple intelligence agencies like Mossad, CIA, maybe even Russia. Do you think there was anything deeper to it? Do you think he had his own kind of megalomaniacal interests?
Yeah, I'm sure that's a part of it. You know, I'm sure they picked a guy who they knew was like sort of sick in the head and was kind of a power freak. But the big question is, how do you engineer compliance? You have to get dirt on people. That's the only way. There's too many people have too many varying opinions on things.
Right.
Especially in like the elite class. All they do is bicker with each other. How do you make sure it stays beneath the surface?
To end it off, is there anything, any kind of message? You obviously seem very concerned with the way that things are right now, geopolitically, in terms of, you know, in your words, radical political ideologies.
Yeah.
Any message you have for Gen Zers like myself?
Yeah, man, go outside, make friends with people who you wouldn't ordinarily talk to. Just try to strike up as many in-person connections as you can, because I think that's the most important bond. Seek community by any means, even if it's like an online subculture where you meet up in person. But just do what you can to hop off the phone. Remember on Nickelodeon, we had Go Outside Day? You know, that was a fun time. I think people should set aside a couple hours a day where they at least just like, you know, get a beer with the mailman. Or if you don't drink, you know, just do something else. Try to think of other things you could do.
Cast a spell.
Well, I mean, just put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to hang out with someone. If you don't get along, it's okay. You can make a new friend somewhere else. But I mean, the loneliness epidemic is extreme. Before COVID, I think 71% of young respondents said they were part of an in-person community that gave them value. This year, it's 19%. So we're seeing like a 500% decrease in civic engagement and social interactions. Like, and so it's, to me, that is by far the biggest problem with Gen Z, and that's I'm like the earliest or latest Gen Z or whatever. That's bigger than any political issue, and it's manifesting itself in political divisiveness, but that's not the core problem. The core problem is lack of community, and that will drive people nuts.
Listen,
Mr. Callahan, you're the man. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. It's a dream come true. Shout out to TMZ.
Bro, what the fuck? TMZ? What kind of interview was that? That was weak.
We have to understand we're doing science, right? Quite complex chemical systems can emerge seemingly from what we call the inorganic world and produce lifelike systems.
What we're talking about is the characteristics of life. What is life is probably something that is better answered by the Bible.
I just want to understand the chemistry of life and how sand turns into cells.
Every year it gets more and more complex as we realize what is going on.
No. It's a panel of dumbasses I'm done. I'm a junior scientist, and I'm smarter than these guys.
I'm very interested by Patrick Bet-David because he has like a thought experiment where if we took like 1,000 boys and then put some of them in front of Charlie Kirk streams, some of them in front of Mr. Beast streams, some of them in front of Hassan Piker, what would we learn? How would they
like the beta.
Would they get better at finance? So this is the kind of great thought leading that we need from our media.
Okay, wonderful. A hypothetical where we're getting groups of boys together. What could go wrong?
Oh yeah, they're selling shoes now. Is that what this is?
What's this?
Oh yeah, they're selling shoes. That's a whole new thing. Don't worry about the shoes. But I will tell you about the shoes. They're very clear that they are designed in Florida but made in Italy. So
that's how you want that to go.
Exactly.
Right, yeah. That seems like the opposite is what would be preferable for style.
Worlds. I agree. They really don't have a fucking idea what they still don't know where gravity comes from. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, literally. So, I mean, like we can measure it, but it exists outside the other things, which is weird, sort of.
Honestly, I think the only thing more appropriate would have been if Andrew Tate was wearing them when he was arrested. Like if that were completing his ensemble, the PBD Fight Over Fear, whatever they're called, like Faith Over Fear.
I mean, I just think gravity is like it's a fucking reflection of the mirror world that's on the other side. Something like that, probably. A quantum tunnel.
Shoes.
Yeah, I love that. So designed in Florida, but made more expensive via tariffs coming from Italy.
Why is space curved?
Florida, the place everybody wants to, the Florida men, where everybody wants to look like those guys. Anyway, let's keep going.
I'll go there.
Better than they found them, no matter where they go. They pass down generational wealth to the next family that they have, their kids. They take responsibility. They're tough. They confront respectfully. Respectfully. They confront respectfully.
Confront respectfully. Like you, PBD? I'm a numbers guy. Yeah, but Einstein...
If this is what net positive to society is, then it leads to the following
Einstein's
names.
a mid-scientist.
If you watched 500 hours of content of each of these, let's just say we take 1,000 kids.
Describing something
and we
is
take
better
these
than,
kids and we
better than not
divide them
understanding it.
amongst these people.
But it's not as good as understanding it. And I don't even think fucking Einstein understood half the shit he did. I mean, it's not unverified. It's just that the quantum realm is trying to quantum tunnel us into a different understanding of why gravity exists.
And the test is going to be, I want you to watch 500 hours. Where would we rank them in net positive to society?
Shit.
As teenagers
or
22-year-olds, 21-year-olds. Let's go through them. Charlie Kirk. If we give a 16-year-old kid to watch 500 hours of Charlie Kirk, what happens to him? How do they feel afterwards? Do they become patriotic?
Do they become patriots?
Do they love America more? Do they want to have a family? Do they think America is the greatest country in the world? Are they net positive to society? Do they want to go make money, obey the law? Their belief system, what they know, they behave. How do you behave after you watch Charlie Kirk? One night I came home, my youngest son was watching Charlie Kirk on his own, and he's just going through the clips. I said, what are you doing? He said, I just want to know what he stood for. This is before Charlie Kirk got shot and assassinated. So what would happen if you watch Charlie Kirk? What about Hormozy? What if we put a case study and we put somebody to watch 500 hours of content of Hormozy?
Okay.
Who are these people?
Yeah, he's a marketing guy.
I was expecting you were going to have
the marketing guy.
No. There are too many people now. There are too many people. And I don't believe that story about his kid either.
No.
Watching Charlie. No one was watching Charlie Kirk videos.
I want to find out what he's about.
Before he died? that story makes more sense afterwards.
Wait,
but
Bender, you know who he is?
Yeah, he's one of those marketing guru guys who all like those landing page salespeople on the internet love, and they all go by He had apparently one of the biggest sales ever recently, where like he made like millions and millions of dollars on his latest course or something like that.
Oh no!
Shocker.
When he said Hormozy, I thought he meant like the Hormuz Strait, like how like Hasan was sometimes.
500 hours of just watching the Strait. It might be really good for you, actually.
Honestly, therapeutic. But I also want to know what his standards are for like what this is supposed to be achieved, this consumption of content, which is kind of like self-serving because he's also a content creator.
Yes.
Let's elevate how much of an impact these people have. Where the virtues he's extolling about the Charlie Kirk viewers, just that they're pliant.
Exactly.
And that like they
propaganda.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you contribute to society? What that is code for is do you accept all of the inequities in society and don't act like a little mouthy bitch?
Do you become perfect screwdriver?
Yeah. Yeah, I read that Brian Greene book when I was younger, and it changed my mind about everything.
Right. You're a perfect base of my pyramid.
Salespeople, better for the economy. Maybe they do. What if they watch Clav? 500 hours.
Clav?
You know what? I have to look very good.
My boy.
So it's almost like all about vanity. It's like you're almost a girl. Girls spend all day long thinking about what they look like. Not guys.
It seems passé now.
Guys, you take care of your body. Of course, you get in shape. You're strong.
Oh my God!
You're
Why
intense.
do they need this B-roll?
And then you try to take care of the people around you. But people who are consuming that content, maybe they look better. Maybe they do some stuff. But is it a net positive to society? I don't know.
He doesn't have Is that a positive?
He is.
Sounds like he's saying it's
oh
a
my
negative.
God! Right?
I don't know.
Exactly. He's saying this is also behind their fixation with trans women, right? Where it's like you would want to be closer to your feminine side. That's disgusting.
Negative.
Yeah. Why? I love to hang out in rooms with men all the time, but because women are so disgusting and net negatives in my life.
They gotta stink. They gotta be so masculine. They better be sweating. That's right. They better have more chest hair than a fucking wolf.
And it's not gay, though. It's not gay.
Not gay, yeah. Not gay.
Sometimes, so that's a good
Not
thing.
in the Bears.
But what would happen
Not a
if you
bear
consume
lover.
500 hours? What about Fuentes? Fuentes is almost like a 55-year-old man stuck in a 20-year-old's body.
That's crazy.
Whoa! They just... Oh, he's not wrong. The AI did him bad, dude. Oh my God. Oh, the AI did him so bad. Bro. I look younger than him. Holy shit. Literally my face shot right now looks younger than him. Holy shit. I got no fucking... Just that filter for the fucking lines.
Body.
Why? That's
crazy. Issues that matter if you're above 40.
Crazy.
Not if you're 14.
I don't know. I think like
Not if you're 14.
Unfortunately,
No, you believe that shit.
I think he might be appealing to younger people as well.
Yeah,
I think it's true.
He's true, but when you watch him in the club, he that club video,
yes,
he
he's
did
not
look
a
like a
young
50-year-old man.
Yeah, he's an old
That's true.
segregationist soul.
Yeah, he's not comfortable in his own skin. He's like so deep in the closet. It's very difficult to be, confident in that kind of circumstance. But I would say, net
like
negative. Also, did you see the AI where they make him older? So annoying.
Wasn't that test already done with Kanye West as the test subject, where he watched many hours, obviously?
Yes, exactly.
I mean, that's obviously where that all came from.
Kanye's patient zero.
I think we're going to get a table coming up here to make this a little bit more quantitative.
Oh, good.
Not if you're 16. Not if you're 18. Well, maybe they do. We can debate that. But to me, I think he has got
he's not wearing
issues that he's talking about
What's
that
happening?
40, 50, 60-year-olds need to be thinking about. And maybe
Like
the youth.
Racism and anti-Semitism.
I think that age group is already thinking about
that. They can't stop.
If I have to choose between somebody that's 18, 20, 22, getting their career in order, making money, being a net positive to society. So let me kind of give you an idea how I'm processing this information. So if I'm 20 years old,
on my stream, girl.
30 years old, 40 years old, 50 years old, hypothetically, stay with me here so this makes sense. And we have career, economy, politics, current events, health, whatever, right? What percentage of politics? In my opinion, less than 10%. It needs to be majority career and, economy, finances taken care of.
What are negative percentages?
How do you do negative attention to politics?
Watch the PPD show.
Yeah.
Right. Because you come away knowing less than you go in with.
Exactly. Right. But dude, you cover politics.
Yes, because it's been a big earner for him.
Exactly. All right, so I guess it's okay.
Oh, he's not in his 20s. He's not in his 20s.
He's on his 20s. Okay, so you should basically he's telling young people not to be engaged in politics as a Republican operative. That's quite convenient.
You can see he doesn't fill out the entire chart, but he does say as you get older you can start caring. Only 20 to 25%. He's more definite when you're 40 it's 30 and when you're 50 it's 35.
So conveniently when people tend to trend more conservatively is when you should pay attention to
politics. If you don't have any money, you shouldn't be voting.
Right, that's right. Yeah. He wants to return essentially to white landowners or just male. How about we're woke now? Multiracial male landowners get to vote in his America.
Exactly.
Here.
No, literally.
There's too many young guys that are following politics that they're broke.
They're broke.
They're broke. We got to go make money.
Sorry, I need that again.
Negative 10%.
There's going to be a sound drop here. Yeah, the like zoom, very dramatic zoom is hilarious.
Good thing it's for free that you can just consume a podcast.
That's not why they're broke, Patrick. They're broke because capitalism is failing.
Right.
Yeah, I know. Because capitalism.
We need to spend more time here. There's too many young guys that are following politics that they're broke.
They're broke.
You're broke. We got to go make money. We got to consume the content that helps us become better in business.
Oh my God!
He's funnier than Gutfeld.
There we go. There you have it. That's what this whole thing's about.
He's got a good example.
His numbers are down. His numbers are down, and he does a lot of content on making money because that's his whole shtick before he got into politics. And he's upset that people that across the spectrum, I'm sure, from Hasan to Nick Fuentes, all these guys who talk about politics, no matter what side of the aisle they're on,
right?
You're taking away my young people. You got to stop. You got to stop.
Yeah. And be wary of any content creator that tries to tell you that there's anything meaningful that's going to change in your life if you just watch more and more content.
If you want the business secrets of the pharaohs or whoever, that's a peep show joke. Patreon.com says Left Reckoning will make you better at business.
Right. I mean, it's the same way, frankly, that someone like Marjorie Taylor Greene gets overinflated by like TYT or something like that as this, warrior because she'll go on their show. It's like, people have to understand their lane in media, and they overinflate their importance in ways that aren't actually matching, say the political realities, or at the very least, the reality of being a young man in America consuming content.
Consuming content that makes you better at doing business deals.
Right.
That's what I like to do. Is I'm trying to get better at business, so I'm watching 500 hours of Clavicular.
And he's really saying there, and sorry, Bender, just like don't pay attention to politics, just try to make money, which would be the time when you would be understanding that this economic system isn't working for you. He's like, shut that off, and just focus on business.
Yeah, what if the politics has something to do with that? Go ahead, Ben.
I just love the idea of, you're broke, you must be consuming too much of the wrong content. You need to consume more of the right content.
Yes.
You should probably be taking my online course, too.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you were consuming too much PBD content, you might have got suckered into that Goliath Ventures, like pyramid or Ponzi scheme. So watching PBD is not always the best business move because he will, give you bad investment advice. And then he'll do that thing that people give you investment advice do, but they go like, well, you got to do your own research, right? Which is totally true, but not what you want to hear from the person who like you rely on as part of your research.
Right.
Who gave you information?
I have all the answers. Sign up here, but also do your own research.
All right, he's going to give some examples of content creators you can watch to be better at business.
Oh, cool.
Economy. I believe the older audience should listen to the politics more than the younger audience. My opinion, because the younger audience needs to become self-reliant. Again, what is your definition of a net positive to society? Let me continue. Mr. Beast, what happens if you watch 500 hours of Mr. Beast? Maybe you get inspired to create a YouTube channel. I don't know if he's teaching value. By the way, he's very good in interviews. If you do watch him in interviews, very insightful. What if you...
So that's this. I like this. It's you might not be able to get a lot from his actual videos of, I don't know, like dropping anvils from like 100 yards onto a car. I don't know what kind of videos he does.
Why is Mr. Beast the example?
So you might not be able to get value from that.
God.
But if you watch his 500 hours of Mr. Beast interviews, maybe you'll improve yourself. That's the road to self-improvement, right?
Can you imagine being somebody that sees Mr. Beast as anything other than like a symptom of the sickest society possible?
I mean, I just gotta, I really gotta reflect on the fact that he just said, people in your 20s, you're watching too much politics content. You need to pay more attention to content literally created for 11-year-old boys.
Yep.
Like that's what you need to be watching. Like it's.
I think we're about to get to maybe Hasan here.
Oh, I'm sure. Net negative.
But he's rich, so he might.
This is again, Patrick isn't fact finding. He hasn't drawn any hard conclusions about whether it's good to watch 500 hours of any of these people.
He's just doing an experiment.
You watch 500 hours of interviews on Mr. Beast. I think that's powerful, right? Billy Graham. What happens if you watch 500 hours of Billy Graham speeches? You don't think you want to be a better man? You don't think you want to make better decisions in life? What if you watch 500 hours of Hasan Piker? Funny, good communicator, but what are his values? Does he really love America? I don't know. I don't know what some of the stuff that he talks about.
What?
The values that he has. But there's the youth that's consuming that
I thought this was about getting better at business, not loving America. Are those the same thing?
Yeah.
It's about loving capitalism, basically.
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
I feel like Hasan can make you better at business. I don't know.
I'm actually a little bit shocked he wasn't full on negative about Hasan. He was called a great
He respects Rich more than anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like that's why he couldn't. That's why he had to say like, okay, I can't really, even me, say that watching 500 hours of Mr. Beast is going to improve you. But watch his interviews where he's very insightful because I need to, gag a little bit. Let's see. I think that's kind of it. Alex Cooper, is that the one from?
Call me daddy.
Call her daddy.
I do want to see what he says about Alex Cooper.
Oh, I am curious. Is this the only woman that is included in the content?
He probably didn't know she was a woman. It's just
Alex, right?
He did insinuate that he includes Clav the Killer or whatever his name is in that grouping.
Kind of like a girl. That's right. That's right.
Alex.
Gotcha.
Walked up to me and says, all you want to do is platform Andrew Tate. And I cannot, this is a father at a soccer match. I'm with my kid.
Oh, you're a victim.
Can I say shout out to that dad?
Yeah.
Yeah, good job.
Who said, as a father, I think it's fucking gross that you keep boosting this, sex trafficker, accused sex trafficker at least, who's like fled multiple countries. How dare you keep feeding him to like young men?
Yes.
Let's see PBD respond to this guy.
You're doing this while showing up to youth soccer games.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a major part of it.
Tate, and I cannot, this is a father at a soccer match. I'm with my kid. You promote Andrew Tate. I said, who do you promote to your kids? He says Destiny. I said, really?
Oh no!
I said, you think your kid's going to benefit of watching Destiny?
About that guy. I'm sorry.
Damn it!
Not Destiny.
Keep them both from the kids.
Are you not allowed to read anymore? Is it just impossible to pick up a book if you're a child? Like, the PBD slap it out of your hand. What happens to the 48 Rules of Power or whatever? Can't they just read that instead? Something.
Watch a AI YouTube summary of the 48 Rules of Power.
Right. Can it not be? Can it be content? Then who gives a crap?
48 rules distilled to 2.
More than a Tate? Yes.
Distilled down
like,
to
all
2
right,
rules.
buddy, we have nothing in common. What net positive? Listen, it's great for show, it's great for TV, it's great for debate. Of course, I've had both of them.
Not that great for show.
It's great for that. But what's the net positive score? What individual increases the net positive score for the youth today? What is it? Alex Cooper, who is going around telling everybody, hey, I'm glad I did this, I'm glad I did this. That's good. What happens if
I'm glad I did this. I'm glad I did that.
Patrick.
With the hand gestures.
This is the worst segment I've ever
hand
seen in my life.
She's going around saying, "I did this." What is he upset that she's centering herself and saying that she has agency? Is that really what it is?
I just laughed so hard I got lightheaded. What does he mean by that? She's walking around saying, "I did this and I'm happy I did that," and that's bad because she's a woman.
Are we? Is there some headline about her that we're missing? All I'm saying is that she's pregnant. Okay.
My most generous explanation of that segment is he literally just did not care enough to look into what kind of content she does. Like he just was like, she's big. I see her on like the top lists of influencers. I'm throwing her on there. I don't know what she does, but I'm gonna bring her up.
Well, I mean, Oh, go ahead, Brandon.
Well, when she wouldn't come on her take, they probably lost interest.
Yeah. Oh my God. Wow. She gets in probably 10 minutes more than that show got in its lifetime in terms of views. It's probably because Alex Cooper left Barstool when I did this. I didn't want to work with Portnoy anymore, and I decided to go on my own and have this massive podcast and get rich on my own. Like,
I think you're on the scent. Like, I wouldn't normally use AI things, but I'm trying to. Hold on a minute. I'm trying to think like Patrick Bet David, so I'm using the Google AI.
Okay.
And so I Google AI'd Alex Cooper. I'm glad I did this. And it says she was glad that they paused rather than rushing into starting a family when they first got married. That's what comes up. I think that is what he means. I'm glad I did this, meaning I'm glad I didn't have a child immediately.
Net negative when a woman does
She's my age. She's 31.
So yeah, let's see.
Wait, actually, I'm 32.
Super net negative.
Yeah, honestly.
If we have a young man watching 500 hours of Emma Vigeland.
I did this.
It's great for debate. Of course, I've had both of them on. It's great for net positive score for the youth today. What is it? Alex Cooper, who is going around telling everybody, hey, I'm glad I did this. I'm glad I did this. That's good. What happens if the average 18-year-old girl watches 500 hours of Alex Cooper? Body count says 50 by the time you're 30 years old.
Oh, that's what he meant.
Andrew Tate doesn't talk like that.
I figured that. I figured he meant that. They're real scumbags over the PBD show. It's easy to forget because sometimes they're critical of like Netanyahu or whatever for half a second. Sometimes, like Vinny is, but they're like real misogynists over on the PBD show. Like the way they talk about Andrew Tate and like what's going on there, like they're bad guys. You should never forget they're like real bad guys on that show.
Well, they're just mad that there's a podcast where she sort of leans liberal and had Kamala Harris on and isn't ashamed of having had sex before. Like that's the baseline that we're talking about. I've listened to her podcast. She's a talented interviewer, but it is the least controversial show I could think of. Like I guess she had Monica Lewinsky on and said like, I'm sorry you were treated poorly. Is that what they're upset about?
I think it's literally just the sex.
Yeah,
I think we're looking too much into this now that I know that little part there.
But like PBD, you have somebody on your team who's older than Alex Cooper and unmarried and kind of laughs at the idea of having a family, which, to be clear, I'm in the same boat as that guy.
But PBD
Adam
also hates him.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Adam Sosnick is on your program every day. What are you doing to the young men? Is that creating positive value?
Yeah, but he's a man.
Does Vinny have kids? I don't think Vinny has kids either, because he talks about them so weird. He's always just like, I hang out with those cats all the time, in reference to hanging out with other people's children. So I was like, people don't talk about kids as cats, like just like the guys at the bar.
Interesting.
All right, we can do a little bit more. I think we might be done here, though.
Is that what the net positive to society is? Good for Alex Cooper for making the money. I'm not judging any of these guys.
I'm just jealous.
Good for them for having a name that others are even talking about.
Like you.
They became relevant. But this is about you. How do you become a better net positive to society?
Okay, we got to figure out how to do these. Now that we've upgraded the definition on our videos, we need to figure out how to do those zooms.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I know how to do them in post very easily.
Yeah. I can do it live though. That'd be nice if we can figure out an OBS. Just
just get like a joystick controller from the camp.
Punch in when, like Sam says,
we do need that.
Social Security is not insolvent.
For emphasis. All right,
Debbie says
I think we're good there. But I still don't know did he reach the conclusion about which 500 hours of content would be the most beneficial for a young boy to consume?
Well, no, this is sort of like when you're doing, I mean, Brandon, you know this, you're setting up a sort of scientific study and you're sort of establishing what methods you're going to do. And you don't, at that point, want to reach any conclusions.
Right. Yeah. It's just a hypothesis. Yeah.
Honestly, it would be like unprofessional to come to a conclusion.
To not think like maybe like clavicular is as useful as Hasan for young boys.
Yeah. Jester Vaxing says, Matt, like big numbers guy. Hey Trey, Patrick Net Positive is his new name. Reese from Tacoma, wait, I'm actually 32, had me laugh so hard coffee came out of my nose. I don't know, that one got me so good. I literally forgot.
The older you get, the more convenient it gets to forget.
Exactly.
Hey folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.
What's the last book you read that hit you with a tidal wave of emotions? You know, one that made you laugh, feel hope, get completely confused, and stare at the ceiling pondering life's meaning, only to be smacked with a pun right after. Let me guess, was it Discworld? Because honestly, there's nothing quite like Terry Pratchett's delightfully chaotic, absurd, and profoundly human series. Even if you haven't read Discworld, you've probably heard of it. It's a veritable giant in modern fiction, and for good reason. But what you may not know is just how massive this series truly is. I certainly didn't, not at first anyway. Discworld started over 4 decades ago, but don't let that time span fool you, it never really slowed down. Now, I was a fan growing up, but like many of us, adulthood and its endless to-do list pulled me away, and wow have I missed a lot. Dozens of books, some, let's say, interesting adaptations, and news about the author that's been both inspiring and heartbreaking. So in this video, I'm diving headfirst into the sprawling world of Discworld, untangling the many ideas, philosophies, and sheer madness that makes it what it is. We'll explore its very long publication history, its adaptations, both the good and the baffling, and where the series stands today to explore whatever happened to Discworld. Hi everyone, my name is Otto, and welcome to Exits Examines. We will be exploring series, franchises, and more after their prime time has seemingly come to an end. If that sounds good to you, there's a like and subscribe button below, and an enormous shout out to my patrons who keep this channel alive. You guys rock. Now, if you're not familiar with Discworld, I simultaneously feel very sad for you, but also deeply jealous. Sad because you missed out on one of the greatest literary playgrounds ever created, but jealous because, oh boy, what a world you have waiting for you. But how do you even explain Discworld? Well, start by throwing in absurdity, toss in equal parts razor-sharp satire and delightfully illogical logic, wrap it in layers of social commentary, and present it all as a fantasy series. It's ridiculous, it's profound, it's hilariously human, and just uniquely Discworld. Now, it's easy to start spiraling on Discworld, but on the surface, here's what it is. Discworld is a fantasy book series by Sir Terry Pratchett that began in 1983. The books often parody or draw inspiration from classic works while taking generous swipes at mythology, folklore, and fairy tales. But more importantly, they use these frameworks to satirize cultural, political, and scientific issues. Now, the books have sold over 80 million copies worldwide, which, if numbers make your eyes glaze over, is roughly the population of Canada and Spain combined. So yeah, people kind of like it. And that's not even including the people who shoplifted it, which apparently Pratchett was the most shoplifted author in the UK. But Discworld is also so much more than that. It's a universe where you'll meet camels who are mathematical geniuses, unionized rats, and Death, yes, that Death, who occasionally moonlights as the disc version of Santa Claus, all on top of some incredible British humor. And if you think that sounds like someone's fever dream, you're not wrong, but please trust me when I say that it works. What sets Discworld apart from other fantasy series like The Lord of the Rings is its structure. It's less a traditional series and more a collection of interconnected miniseries and standalones, all set in the same world. Even if you start with the first book, you'll quickly notice that the plots don't string together in a neat continuous arc. Instead, they're like a web of stories running parallel, connected in this unhinged mishmash of reoccurring characters, themes, and that signature Pratchett wit. He's often called the granddaddy of absurd fantasy, and honestly, that feels about right. And right from the very first page, Discworld makes no apologies for its wonderfully chaotic logic. Quote, Discworld is primarily a story about a world. Here it comes now. A brass note sounds. It is a deep, vibrating chord that hints that the brass section may break in at any moment with a fanfare for the cosmos, because the scene is the blackness of deep space with a few stars glittering like the dandruff on the shoulders of God. Then it comes into view. Overhead, bigger than the biggest, most unpleasantly armed star cruiser in the imagination of a 3-ring film maker. A turtle, 10,000 miles long. It is Great Atuan, and it carries on its meteor pox shell 4 giant elephants who bear on their enormous shoulders the great round wheel of Discworld. A world like that, which exists only because the gods enjoy a joke, must be a place where magic can survive. Now, if you thought the absurdity of Discworld stopped at the world itself, I clearly have not done my job well enough, because this is a universe packed with heroes, wizards, witches, dwarves, dragons, and a city watch, which exists, yes, but they're all twisted enough to make you do a double take. And Discworld is basically what happens if you took your standard fantasy world, but took all the concepts in there, like magic and the implications of magic, to their logical extremes. Like if you sat down and really thought what would happen in a world that combines magic with the delightfully stupid human race. And that's what the genius is here. It's this logic-driven absurdity. Discworld is a world, but more importantly, it's our world just turned sideways. And through this, Pratchett exposes some hilarious and very human truths about ourselves, our history, and our language. And of course, a major vehicle for this exploration comes in the form of Discworld's world building, which is a masterclass in taking fantastical concepts and running them to their logical extremes. Exactly. Let's take dwarves for example. On the surface, Discworld dwarves look like your standard fantasy fare. Short, bearded, metalworkers, a clear nod to Tolkien. But give them more than a passing glance and things get uniquely Discworld. Take gender for instance. Dwarf society goes out of its way to keep genders ambiguous, with all dwarves, regardless of gender, rocking beards, and courtship being less about romantic gestures and more about the delicate, awkward process of figuring out what gender the other dwarf even is. Instead of the usual gender ambiguity dwarves are usually treated with in other fantasy series, Discworld leans into that ambiguity, and that is just one of the many examples. And of course, what is a fantasy world without magic? And the magic here is delightfully mundane. Magic isn't some flashy wave of the wand, it's a scholarly pursuit with all the boring rules that come with that. Most of the complexity in magic isn't the effect itself, but the safety measures. And also because wizards just seriously love the trappings of wizardry, like dripping candles, even if they aren't exactly needed. No one wants to be the wizard who turns into a puddle because they skip the magical equivalent of reading the safety manual. And don't even get me started on sorcerers. Wizards born to 8 sons of 8 sons of 8 sons. And of course, the incredible home of wizardry called the Unseen University has a motto that roughly translates to now you see it, now you don't. And even the magical library in it is delightfully twisted. Books here are chained not to keep students from stealing them, but to keep the students from being stolen by the books. And that's not even to mention the fan favorite librarian who, thanks to a magical accident, has been transformed into an orangutan. And perhaps nowhere is more indicative of the absurd chaos of the books than the main setting for most of the series, Ankh-Morpork. The beating heart of Discworld is a chaotic, hilarious mess of a city. Picture a blend of Prague, 18th century London, 19th century Seattle, and a dash of modern New York City thrown in. It's a place where corruption, pollution, and violence are regular features, and even in the midst of dragon attacks, the vegetable carts still roll in. Situated on the river Ankh, which is so polluted it's rumored to be solid enough to walk on, the city itself is a fictional city-state and the mercantile capital of Discworld. And fascinatingly enough, Ankh-Morpork is constantly evolving, with a rich history of revolution and even eventually going into its very own Discworld industrial revolution. And again, just as another fun aside, because this is a series filled with them, Ankh-Morpork has to have one of the most impressive and hilarious coats of arms around. If that doesn't scream Discworld, I don't know what does. The city also features a ridiculous number of guilds, over 300 of them. Some, like the Thieves Guild, are massive and surprisingly organized because, of course, crime is regulated here. The Beggars Guild, which is the oldest and the wealthiest, and of course the Victims Guild, whose members make their living by contracting out to take hits from the Thieves Guild on behalf of their customers. And this world building isn't just surface level. Pratchett actually does something with them, and these lead to some brilliant setups, like a well-meaning human guard who happened to be raised by dwarves and thought he was a dwarf for a long wrong time, stopping a rowdy dwarf crowd at a tavern by telling them in perfect dwarvish that their poor dwarven mothers, who they never write home to anymore, would be ashamed of their drunken behavior. Or a sphinx being questioned on the logical validity of its riddle. And I could just go on and on, because as the series goes on, and keep in mind this is a pretty massive series we're talking about, we get taken all throughout Discworld to different locations, eras, and all are delightfully as absurd as the next. Everything in it just has this distinct aesthetic and Discworld's feel that's impossible to get from any other media out there. Now, of course, all of this spills into the characters, which, no surprise here, are some of the most absurdly unique, hilariously, and gloriously logical yet ridiculous creations in fiction. Discworld takes familiar archetypes, twists them inside out, and somehow makes them feel both larger than life and weirdly painfully human. Take Cohen the Barbarian. Think Conan, but very, very old. On his first appearance, he's already a wrinkled relic of a warrior, but still absurdly competent because, as he often points out, a man who does what he does for a living and still manages to reach his 90s must be very, very good at it.
Baby.
Then there's Lord Vetinari, Ankh-Morpork's resident tyrant and arguably the most competent politician in literature. He's what you get if Steve Jobs and Machiavelli walked into a bar, drank exactly one glass of water, and immediately took over the city. His approach to government is simple. Crime legalized, corruption institutionalized. And in one of my favorite scenes, in a rare instance where he gets imprisoned, he's taking control of the local rat population who serve his every whim. But in his words, he's not ruling them, he's merely just giving advice. And speaking of figures that loom over the story, let's talk about Death. Not Death in the abstract sense, but Death the character. Everyone's favorite Grim Reaper, with an unsettling fondness for talking in all caps, but small, and kind of with an existential curiosity that makes him one of Discworld's most fascinating figures. He loves cats, and in one of my favorite scenes, he gets blackout drunk and agonizes over what it means to be human, despite, being the personification of mortality. And let's not forget Binky, his horse, a perfectly normal, living, breathing white horse, because as Death discovered, skeletal horses tend to fall apart, and fiery ones keep setting things on fire. Sometimes the simplest solution is the best. Even throwaway characters are just so beautifully and absurdly fleshed out, like a camel who also happens to be the greatest mathematician on the disc. And one of the best things about Discworld is how fragmented yet interconnected it really is. The world isn't just one story, but dozens told from many different perspectives. Reoccurring characters pop in and out, making the setting feel alive and layered, and the interactions between these characters are as insightful as they are hilarious. Take the character Vimes, another fan favorite whose rise from alcoholic policeman, or drunk as he refers to himself, stating that he is nowhere near rich enough to have been considered an alcoholic, to a respected member of the aristocracy, and his begrudging acceptance of his role as the commander of the City Watch. Now his and the patricians' interactions are pure gold. Quote, "Commander, I always used to consider that you had a definite anti-authoritarian streak in you. Sir, it seems that you managed to retain this even though you are authority. Sir, that's practically Zen." End quote. Or the time Death had a near Vimes experience. And honestly, these moments and Discworld as a whole are some of the funniest in literature, and I don't think I've ever laughed so much at a series in my life. It's the perfect blend of sharp British humor, self-awareness, and fourth wall-breaking moments.
Guide
a lot of the comedy comes from Pratchett's witty narrative voice and his brilliant footnotes. Sometimes you'll read a line, think, wait, what? And then have to go back and reread it 2 or 3 times before understanding what actually was being said hit you like a ton of bricks, because bear in mind there's wordplay, double meaning, and philosophy in almost every single line. Quote, "All the shops have been smashed open. There's a whole bunch of people across the street helping themselves to musical instruments. Can you believe that?" "Yeah," said Rincewind. "Looters, I expect." End quote. And sorry, I can't help myself because there are just too many incredible quotes to choose from. Quote, "Give a man fire and he's warm for a day, but set fire to him and he's warm for the rest of his life." End quote. Now, that all being said, it would be an enormous disservice to Discworld to say that it is just humor. At first glance, it might just seem like a mishmash of quirky parodies and fantasy cliches, but dig a little deeper and you'll find that Pratchett's work also tackles some of the most human and real-world issues out there, like religion, fundamentalism, politics, and social inequality. Underneath all the witty one-liners, there's a deep humanism and a surprising amount of moral and philosophical explorations. The series can lull you you into a false sense of security with its absurdity, but don't be fooled. There are some profound messages that are subtly and not so subtly raised. Take this bit, for instance. Quote, "Down there," he said, "are people who will follow any dragon, worship any god, ignore any inequity. All out of this kind of humdrum, everyday badness. Not the really high, creative loathsomeness of the great sinners, but a sort of mass-produced darkness of the soul. Sin, you might say, without a trace of originality. They accept evil not because they say yes, but because they don't say no." End quote. Or another example is this great exchange between Susan and Death. Quote, "Humans need fantasy to be human. Tooth fairies? Yes. As practice, you have to start out learning to believe the little lies. So we can believe the big ones? Yes. Justice, mercy, duty, that sort of thing. They're not the same at all. You think so? Then take the universe and grind it down to the finest powder, and then show me one atom of justice, one molecule of mercy, and yet you act as if there is some rightness in the universe by which it may be judged. Yes. But people have got to believe that, or what's the point? My point exactly." End quote. Pratchett just had this incredible knack for picking apart the English language, breaking it down, using myths, legends, and folklore, then piecing them all back together with a modern twist. One minute you're in a Macbeth-like tragedy, and the next you're caught up in a murder mystery, and then you're tossed into a coming-of-age story. It can be overwhelming, but in the best possible way, because in Discworld there are so many ideas, themes, and emotions swirling around in this whirlwind of genius, and on top of this, there's not even chapters to the book, because of course, Pratchett didn't really believe in them. And this seamless blend of styles and comedy and insight is what makes the writing so special. Discworld isn't just funny, it's thought-provoking and all-encompassing. From philosophy, religion, gender, and the effects of industrialization. It's an exhaustive list of things that matter, wrapped in humor, but never trivialized, and again, feeling so human. Because one of the reoccurring discussions you'll see on Discworld is how Pratchett was driven by a, quote, deep-seated moral anger about the stupid things humans do. So speaking of that, who could have created such a brilliantly absurd yet deeply human work? Well, none other than Terry Pratchett himself. Now, Pratchett wasn't just a writer. He was a pioneer in how he interacted with his fans. He was one of the first to use the internet to communicate directly with them, and as you may expect, he was a man of many, many interests. And I was surprised to learn that he was actually an avid video gamer, listing Half-Life and Thief as his favorites. And just to give you another taste of the man, he was knighted for his services to literature, and in true Pratchett fashion, he famously forged his own sword from meteorite metal. And it's no wonder while many other fandoms have had their fair share of existential crisis dealing with authors with complicated viewpoints, Pratchett is seemingly universally loved by his fanbase. In an interview when describing Discworld, he said, quote, "There was a lot of fun stuff that happens that I wanted to put in. And in effect, that's what Discworld happens to be." And I think that really just sums up Discworld. And it's no surprise that these books sold extremely well, and Discworld has a dedicated fan base in the US, although it never received the same level of saturation that it did in the UK. So if you're anything like me, some of your books may be, well, let's just say, well-loved, with some not-so-glamorous coffee stains. Hey, it happens, but why not treat yourself and your poor, battered books to something that will keep them cozy and protected? Well, that's where today's sponsor, BookBow, comes in. They make gorgeous book sleeves that aren't just about protection, they also look amazing too. And it's actually not just for books, whether you're toting around a Kindle, iPad, or even total, there are 41 mainline novels. The confusing thing for newcomers is that Discworld doesn't move along in a neat linear order. Instead, it meanders, leaps sideways, and sometimes sprints off in a completely different direction. And honestly, I haven't encountered another series that pulls off this kind of delightful narrative chaos. The early books were more like one-shots, but as the series grew, Pratchett settled into more ensemble casts and ongoing sub-series. Fortunately though, most books stand on their own. You can pick up just about any one because Pratchett was excellent at weaving in background information naturally, so you're rarely
pick it up and you're like, oh, I read that
However,
one.
Pratchett himself said that he didn't think people should start with the first book, The Color of Magic, since in his words, it wasn't his best work. And the first few chronologically can feel a bit meandering and just like things are happening for the sake of happening. So what about those sub-series that I mentioned? Well, they focus on different characters and themes, and some of the standouts include the Death novels following, Death as he is going through a midlife crisis. Sometimes he even takes a break from reaping souls to live a quote-unquote more normal life, and occasionally moonlighting as Discworld's version of Santa Claus. It sounds absurd, yes, but this is Discworld. Then we also got the Witches novels focusing on, you guessed it, witches, including fan favorites Nanny Ogg and Granny Witherwats, with a serious dose of common sense and a little magic and some Shakespeare references thrown in for good measure. Then we have the City Watch novels, which may be the most beloved set. These follow the Ankh-Morpork City Watch, where Commander Sam Vines goes from a burnout cop to someone who begrudgingly saves the city and occasionally the world. These books mix murder mysteries, social issues, and cop dramas, but at their heart, they're also about learning what it means to be the right thing and realizing that growth takes a lot of work. So the question you'll see time and time again when it comes to Discworld
We mortals take comfort believing our prayers are safe with Eternals, but even the
common type of YouTube video or Reddit post is how to pick it apart. Well, the short answer is just pick up any book you want and start reading. But the long answer is, well, there are several schools of thought. And honestly, none of them are wrong, aside from please don't start at the first novel. Some people recommend starting with Guards, with some people thinking it's the first Discworld book in its fully realized form.
Yeah. Read Guards.
Watch, dipping into earlier novels when you feel like it. If you're the visual type, there are some gorgeous and wildly helpful reading guides out there, including an official one on Pratchett's website and fan-made ones, which I'll link below. But when it comes down to it, how you approach Discworld is totally up to you. If you want to experience a little bit of everything, jump around and explore different parts of the world. But if you prefer a more organized ride, stick with one sub-series at a time. No matter what, there's something for everyone. Even younger readers, thanks to a whole sub-series like the Tiffany Aching novels, although those can be just as deep and philosophical. At the end of the day, just enjoy the journey. There's no wrong way to read Discworld. You could completely ignore everything I just said and read the books in chronological order, which is actually a cool way to watch Pratchett's writing evolve. Honestly, almost every fan has read the books in different orders, so just grab your nearest Discworld book and get to it. We'll wait. And actually, even if you're not a fantasy person, there are books here for you because of the Science of Discworld series. And as you may have guessed from the title, it's a deep dive into physics, which is one of the most unique concepts for a sub-series on fantasy I've come across, with the books being more like thought experiments that use Discworld as a springboard to explore real-world science. And they're filled with some really interesting facts, like the terrifying one that when scientists first tested nuclear reactions, there was a non-zero chance that the chain reaction wouldn't stop, potentially setting the world on fire. Now, spoiler, it didn't, but still, yikes. And if that still isn't enough Discworld for you, don't worry, because Pratchett also dabbled in short stories, essays, and collaborative works. Some of these are collected in A Blink of the Screen in 2012, which is a treasure trove of Pratchett's fiction spanning his entire career. One standout has got to be Turned of the Night in 1989, which is a short story featuring a record collector and death, because of course he should have put stuff outside the disc too. More recently, a stroke of the pen, The Lost Stories in 2023 gathered or rediscovered early works by Pratchett, pieces written under a pseudonym and only linked to him decades later. And some of these stories include early hints of Discworld ideas before they fully took shape. Now, many of these stories are floating around online, and I'll link a few below if you're curious. They're quick reads, but they offer a whole new appreciation of how Pratchett's ideas simmered long before the disc took shape. Now, if you're the kind of person who needs a map to truly immerse yourself in the world, I totally get it, and I'm right there with you. Although Pratchett might disagree with you, saying, quote, there are no maps, can't map yet despite that sentiment, there are several official Discworld maps. There are a few primary maps, and a few of these include the streets of Ankh-Morpork in 1993, the Discworld map in 1995.
Just how long do you plan on looking at that?
More recently, there's also been the complete
You can look as much as you like later.
Discworld
right now, you might want to run. The Gilded Mist is coming.
Shut up.
So you may think we're done, but oh no, my Discworld amigo, we are just scratching the surface, because the Discworld universe isn't just about the little novels, it's a sprawling treasure trove of companion books, and there are way too many to even actually mention by name. But a few standouts are the Unseen University Challenge in 1996, which is a quiz book cramming over 800 questions across categories like art.
Bye. Being mad now. Settings. Okay. Game. Others. Keyboard. Controls. Jump. Crouching. Chat. Whatever, I'll figure it out when I need to. Confirm. Confirm. Duck. Okay, I know how to control. Hello? I need a tutorial.
Stay true to the path, Lord Hunter. It is yours to follow.
Thank you.
The fate of this world has come to a halt. Now it's an apocalypse without end.
Why did I do this? Why? What was I thinking? Die.
You have other skills, use them now.
Oh yeah.
You have other skills, use them now. Must I spell it out for you?
I can't.
Use your brain, not just your hands.
Oh, I pushed X. Well, let's make it this. Okay, hold on. Chat's gonna be N. Nope. Chat's gonna be
What are you?
M.
Never mind. Whatever you want.
Chat's gonna be P. Cancel. Chat's gonna be this. Alright, fine. I'm so confused. What is happening?
Not bad. Now I'm starting to believe your Guild Hunter material. Oh, and don't forget to loot corpses. Gotta fill those empty pockets somehow.
Thank you. It's raining like a motherfucker, bro. Okay, what is happening here? I have Q. Okay, and I have E. Okay. I have X. I have Z. Normal. What is that? What is X for? Oh, it's not bound now. Alright then, here we go. That's it. Change the thing. Except this. Cool. Drink mead. Okay, X. Q. Z. Alright. Now we're talking. You gotta use the silver-tipped arrows for the fucking zombies. is not bad. Go, boys. I'm actually wet. Look at me. God, it's sick. There's a wet shader. What am I doing? Hello? Forgot. I hate this tutorial. Can I skip it? Oh, I'm doing 120. Oh yeah. Come on. Where am I going?
So many souls lost. So many fates severed.
This is it, right? Yes. Thank you.
Who's this poor fellow? Doesn't matter. Let's see what he's got on him. Those potions can help restore your condition. That guy looks pretty dangerous. Watch out.
Ah! Oopsie. Lucky. Find a ladder. Okay. Finding one.
Hey, where'd the big guy go? I've marked the destination on your map. Open it and take a look.
Okay, forward and around.
Down,
and
tall
left.
guy.
Now the duck. Done this already, by the way. What is this? Throwing dagger, mate. This is melee. Where's melee? What do I use? Die, you old hag. Hey. Wow, $30. Got a new bow, baby. Let's go. I look good. Die.
Build from the brains of gods. Only Gildenblad can mend
Yeah,
the
he's
world.
scary. Comes around.
Harvest every drop.
Oh yeah, I'll take it. Fortune bean. Oh, these are very valuable. $90. Hell yeah. Take your fortune bean, bitch. We're not even there yet. We're not there yet. I'm gonna use my low voice. Cedo.
See the mechanism. You have hands. Use them.
I have hands. Oh, I see.
Stay quiet. You don't want him to notice you, hmm?
Forgot about him. Why does it go up? What is the point? Oh, I see. part Tomb Raider. Many ways in.
Watch out!
No, it's a troll. No shit, watch out. No. No. He's spurting blood. Oh no, it's not good. He's out. But Stacy's. Oh! Oh, I'm lost.
Seek your remains. Return to the living world. A soul cannot wander alone for too long. Reclaim your body as soon as possible.
Give me my soul,
Can
bitch.
you hear me?
Yes.
You're lucky. Guild hunters who die to monsters get a second chance. A springhorn. Good stuff. Grab it quick. Water from the spring instantly restores your physical condition. Take a sip.
Okay. Okay, I know. Yeah. Please give me.
There's the returning chime. Go give him a ring.
Oh. Hello?
That's a heartbeat. Someone is nearby in stealth.
Fuck you. What the fuck? Fuck you. Fucking Garrett. It's the fucking Witcher.
Well done. His stuff is all yours now.
Fuck. Oh, let's get him.
Now, thrash this little runt. Don't ask questions.
Okay. Little bell. I want extraction, please, from this stupid.
The soul tree is about to wither. Hurry up, or you'll have to start over.
No big deal. I'm just gonna ring this bell.
Closer. Reach out. I'll pull you back.
There's certain procedures you have to do. You can't just push a button, you know? The blood of the fallen gods has spread to the mortal realm, forming golden blood in gilded mist. Gilded blood contains the power of the gods, making it highly sought after, while gilded mist gildenizes those who contact it, transforming their souls and bodies into the maddened corroded that ravaged the land. The corroded. Mist fallout. That's right. Little dominoes. You guys are friends.
Death touched and whole again.
Aww,
Welcome back,
raven.
Guild Hunter.
I want a white raven too. Thank you.
I am Dew, guide of the Guild Hunters. It was I who
Skip
reshaped
this, blah blah. What do we do now? Blah blah. Go to my chest. Unload. Okay, transfer all. Thank you. Got a pocket and a keychain. Fixes, nice. Damn. Okay. I made 1,200 already. E. Okay. Where's repair locked? We got it. That's all we got right now. Okay. We don't have any talents yet. The mall? $2,000 real dollars? God damn. Pretty sick. Definitely like the artwork. Wardrobe? Continue. 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 God damn. Yeah. Damn. Huh? Oh, that's crazy. Ooh. Nice. Regal. The fuck? Oh, that's sick. The smoky sheen, that's sick. Go. 2,000. Oh, you can unlock this. This is sick. Promotional events. Fuck you. Golden Cipher. What? What event? God, the artwork in this is insane, you guys. Holy shit. Looks so good. I don't have it on low, bro. Oh my god. Okay. Okay, that's the sailing ship.
You look much more spirited. I hope everything here has...
Yes, thank you, dude. I love you.
My tavern's still in the works.
Oh.
You know how it is. But it sure ain't got a lack of courage and fire.
No.
That's what good drinks are
forward to
for,
seeing
don't you
you.
think? To drown out fear and spark hope.
Look, I'll show you my bow when I
I'll
come
be right
back,
here.
Okay? All right. We'll have a beer. I'd like to get to know you a little better. If you know what I mean. Huh? You can't depart? Okay. The White Crow. Talk to Soki at the White Crow on the docks, then head to the Hollow Grove. Okay, so talk to...
A warm welcome to you, Guild Hunter from afar. I'm Kazaro from... Since the... If you've got enough...
Fuck it. I'm gonna buy shit. I'm just going in cold, baby.
Oh, look who it is. Our
Look who
king
it
of
is.
scavengers. What do you want this time?
I got rewards. Let's go. Thank you. Let's go, Toasty. What? Oh, social. New. Oh, they're fucking purple, dude.
Uh-huh.
I got these. that's
Hail.
right. Holy shit, dude. Alright. Also got to show off Hall of Heroes. And use Heroes Vessel. Oh, look at that. What? The Nether Fairy? Okay. Okay. Let's go, Jay. Matchmaking started. R.I.P. Joe Rogan. What the fuck is that? See that in chat? Must be funny. Let's go into the mist, bitch. Oh, we gotta turn that off. That's right. Save and quit. There we go. Alright, folks. We're back. Game mode. Huh? Obtain treasures. Survive combat. Before the Gildan Mist engulfs the entire area. Use the returning chime to summon the Hollow Grove Woodling, which transforms into a soul tree once defeated. Correct. Make all kinds of noise. Ring the bell. Blah, blah, blah. Full map. Okay, that's a good idea. Pip. Let's go there. And I'm gonna shoot the switch. Ooh, charcoal. Engraved ring. Pick up. Discard. Golden blood. Love that. Good stuff. Alright. Hey, what's this? Oh. Herb. Herb bundle. Huh? Vine bundle. Nice. Alright. Must need those. Alright, I see my destination. Where are we? This is the actual map now, right? Oh, shit! Okay. Wow. I think I've only seen some of this. This is only the first map. First switch. Wrong arrows. God, this is the fucking Witcher. What the fuck? Playing the Witcher with arrows. Apparently they have a little bit of influence on the Witcher. Sell it. Dungeon time. Okay. Ooh. Fuck yeah. Ooh, definitely want that in my pouch. $200? That was a good roll, bro. Got the decal. I mean, why not? It's sick. It's Pip.
Oh, shiny guild hunter, over here!
Hold on. Let me get rid of this beast that's been bothering you. So. Hold on. Let me get the juice. Dead follower.
Oh, finally! Now's really not the time to...
Okay, bye. Bye, Pip. Really care. That treasure chest? Just a trap. Oh, it's a chest, alright. Oh, green. Yeah. Got some beans. Gotta love the beans. chest right in front of me. What guardian monster? Pops. Let's go. I'll leave yet. Okay. Let's go then. Ouch. Bitch.
Seek your remains. Return to the living world.
Where am I right now?
A soul cannot wander alone for too long. Reclaim your body as soon as possible.
Okay. Where is it? It's still kill me. What the fuck?
Ring the chime. Don't keep our woodlings waiting.
Fuck you, bitch. Wanna ring the chime? My body. How do I get down? How do I get down there? I don't know, dude.
You must hurry. Return to your flesh immediately.
Fuck you, bitch. Get wrecked. Dude. Bye, chat. Gotta go.